You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Coming up, a tire center catches fire near Mo 43 and I-44.
And anti-Semitic signs are put up near a California university.
Plus, we are watching the possibility of thunderstorms as we head into the holiday weekend. We're going to break it all down coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. A truck stop tire center catches on fire Tuesday evening. Ozarko, located behind the Pilot Travel Plaza at Missouri 43 and I-44, caught fire around 8 p.m. Tuesday night. There were reports of heavy smoke coming from the building. Joplin Fire, the JPD, and Met's ambulance responded alongside Redding's Mill as mutual aid. Now, MoDOT Emergency Response closed Missouri 43 at Cedar Road as hoses crossed the state highway for hydrants on the east side near 4 state trucks. A worker tells us there are possibly 1,000 new tires inside that warehouse. This is a developing story. We'll have all the details on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Investigators are looking for the cause of a fire that burned a historic church in Fort Scott, Kansas. The fire chief says the roof of the Mary Queen of Angels Catholic Church is a complete loss. The basement is flooded. Church was built in 1870. The St. Mary's priest hopes the exterior walls can be saved as they rebuild the church. One Fort Scott firefighter was treated for a minor injury and released. Statues inside the church were not damaged and are still salvageable. The fire erupted in the church on Holbrook Street overnight. Crews from several surrounding departments battled the flames through the early Tuesday morning hours. Authorities charge a former Southwest Missouri high school soccer coach for sex crimes. Tim McGee of Willard faces 3 counts of second-degree statutory sodomy. He was scheduled for a plea hearing, but it was rescheduled for a 3rd time. Court records say McGee admitted to having a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old girl back in 2009. He was 38 at the time. The relationship ended when the girl moved away, though according to the probable cause statement, he stayed in contact with her for about a year. It's unclear, though, if she was a student at Willard High School when this happened. McGee was eventually arrested and charged, but was released on a $25,000 bond. Crawford County Sheriff's Office says someone has been calling people claiming to be Sergeant Matthew Peters from the Crawford County Sheriff's Office. The caller then leaves a message with a number to return the call regarding an urgent matter. The Sheriff's Office says they do have a Sergeant Matthew Peters, but it is not him making the calls. They say if you receive this call, report it to the Sheriff's Office. Pittsburgh Fire Department has a new tool to help some suffering from smoke inhalation. The new Cyano kits treat cyanide poisoning. Cyanide is created during a combustion. Fire Department says anytime someone inhales smoke, they get it in their bloodstream. Those exposed to enough smoke could be poisoned by the cyanide.
So anytime we go to a house fire and there's people inside who are subjected to smoke, they could very well end up with cyanide poisoning. And some of the statistics that we look at tell us that a good percentage of people who die in residential fires actually die from smoke inhalation.
The Cyano kit is injected quickly. While the firefighters carry the kits, EMS will actually administer it. Missouri voters will have some new rules now that lawmakers passed the Comprehensive Election Reform Bill. Now, voters are now required to bring photo IDs, and it expands absentee voting. Missouri voters can now vote absentee without an excuse, and it allows them to vote 2 weeks prior to the election.
I think one of the most important aspects of that is the voter ID requirement. We talk about election integrity almost every day in our office, and one of the ways that you can make sure that our election results are accurate is to make sure that those people that are voting actually are the individuals that are coming to the polls, and the only way that you can do that is to require a photo ID.
If the new law faces a court challenge, the new law is facing a court challenge, but if the law stands, the first day you can absentee vote is September 27th.
All right, so here's what we've got in terms of weather. First off, we've got this very bright light looking right at our camera. And that's the sun as it rises on this beautiful Wednesday morning. It feels more like late September, not the last day of August. 61 in Joplin right now, so not bad. We're still holding on to upper 50s for some of our northern counties. Now Pittsburgh even getting in on some of that cool air action as well. Otherwise, lower 60s along the I-44 corridor. Kids should be on the bus by now. If not, obviously, it's going to be in the lower 60s for most of them as they go to school. Then by the time that bus brings them back, 89 around 3 o'clock under partly cloudy skies. We got a hot day in store for us today. 84 by noon, afternoon high of 90, and then 80 by 8 with increasing cloud cover. Mostly cloudy skies. Hold on tonight. We're looking at 73 by 11, 69 at 2 and 6 a.m. with 68 the overnight low squeezing in right there. Then unfortunately watching scattered storm chances Saturday and Sunday. 89 on Saturday, 88 on Sunday, under mostly cloudy skies. And the good news is there's scattered storm chances, but there's storm chances nonetheless leading right through the Labor Day weekend. Of course, we'll talk more about those storm chances and take a look at the 7-day forecast here a little later.
And some folks are going to be starting their holiday on Friday, others on Saturday,
And
so
unfortunately going to
we'll
be
keep you
raining on
updated.
all of those days.
Yes. Well, up next, a new helmet helps prevent the loss of hair during chemotherapy.
And later, an unclaimed veteran gets a committal held at Pikes Peak National Cemetery in Colorado. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
In Health Watch this morning, extremely cold temperatures could help reduce a cancer patient's risk of hair loss during chemotherapy. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez takes a look at how one cancer survivor's makeshift ice helmet is doing just that.
For many of us, our hair is part of our identity. And losing it, especially to cancer treatments, can cause people immense distress. But applying very cold temperatures to the scalp during chemotherapy is preventing some people from going bald.
I want all the people to have the chance to not lose their hair just as I had.
When Paula Estrada of Argentina was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2009, she vowed to beat the disease without suffering hair loss. So she went to work, creating a helmet made of ice packets to wear during her rounds of chemo. And it was successful.
It is based on the cold temperature that produces vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction lowers the amount of drug that gets to the hair follicle, and that helps to stave off the hair.
According to the Mayo Clinic, chemotherapy drugs are designed to attack fast-growing cancer cells, but they can also target other rapid-growing cells in a patient's body, including ones in their hair follicles. Because the ice method yielded results, Estrada's helmet caught on. And similar versions have already helped at least 60,000 cancer patients across multiple countries, including the U.S. and Mexico. To be effective, doctors say cooling helmets like Estrada's must be worn from the start of a person's first chemo session. The caps must also be at a temperature of -4 degrees and be swapped out every 30 minutes. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
We have got, my apologies, it's like I said earlier, it's Wednesday. I'm just not with it this morning. We've got a really nice start to the day in Joplin, a chilly start considering it's the last day of August. 61 is where we're at right now. Temperatures still holding on to upper 50s in the north, lower 60s in the south. As we go through today, it's going to be a hot day. 84 by noon, 90 by 5 for our afternoon high, 80 by 8 with increasing clouds. As we go into tonight, 73 by 11, 69 by 2 a.m., overnight low of 68. And keeping an eye on scattered thunderstorm chances Saturday and Sunday, 89 Saturday, 88 on Sunday. More of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. All right, so another check of that forecast. Here's what we've got going on. We're watching clouds to begin increasing later today. We are watching rain chances that will begin building in on Thursday, and then scattered storms will persist through. I spelled through wrong. My goodness, how am I just now catching that? Well, they'll persist through the weekend. Right now, the Skywatch storm tracker is clear. In fact, most of the lower 48 pretty clear of any activity, but that's going to start to change. 7th in range line, beautiful sunrise to start the day. And we've got September, October-like temperatures too, 61 degrees in Joplin. We've got the upper 50s in places like Fredonia, Chanute, Iola, Fort Scott, and lower 60s in places like Nowata, Welch, Miami, and Neosho to start our day. Now it's going to heat up. We're looking at an afternoon high of 90 degrees, 84 by noon, 90 by 5, increasing cloud cover as well. Mostly cloudy skies will stick with us through the evening, 73 by 11, 69 by 2 a.m. with an overnight low of 68 squeezing in right about in that gap right there. Scattered storm chances this weekend. We've been talking about it. Saturday, Sunday, 89, 88. Mostly cloudy skies otherwise. So let's take a look at the future track and see what exactly we've got in store for us. As we go through the rest of the day, we hold on to those partly cloudy skies. Not a bad day otherwise. We watch increasing clouds Thursday and then increasing storm chances Thursday evening, Thursday night, into Friday morning. By Friday evening, we get a break before the next batch of scattered storms starts to hang out on top of us. And then a few more scattered storms on Saturday, and even more of them come Sunday, as you can see, with those mostly cloudy skies. And on the 7-day forecast, we've got 93 tomorrow. We watch the storm chances increase. 91 on Labor Day itself, with a 20% chance of a few scattered storms on Monday. So not a complete washout through the holiday weekend, but we do have a number of chances of scattered storms. So do keep the Skywatch weather app handy and keep your eye to the sky. And remember, when thunder roars, head indoors. Growing concerns by students and parents at the University of California's Davis campus. Anti-Semitic messages were spotted near the school over the weekend in an area with a large Jewish community. Monica DeAnda has the story.
Two signs posted on the Davis Jewish Community Facebook page reading "Communism is Jewish and the Holocaust is an anti-white lie" popped up on this busy Davis overpass Sunday.
It just makes me feel like a little unsafe.
Daniel Kim uses a path daily to get to the UC Davis campus nearby. Hearing that anti-Semitic signs were hanging in this area where students constantly pass by worries him.
Just to bring it up in general, around like all these students is a big problem, and it shouldn't be like broadcasted like that, especially because it's a very big hate, crime incident.
UC Davis police responded to this overpass yesterday afternoon after people reported seeing 3 to 4 individuals dressed in all black standing on the bike path hanging these two signs. Police say one witness confronted the group and a verbal argument began. Nobody was injured and no arrests were made.
I bike over there probably 3 times a week, so it was very hurtful today when I biked here to see you. I biked over that bridge.
Barry Klein is the president of Hillel Davis in Sacramento, a home away from home for mostly undergraduate Jewish students. He says the timing and location of this anti-Semitic incident is particularly concerning.
All these things affect them very deeply. I mean, they're here focusing on education, but they can't turn a blind eye to anti-Semitic incidents, of which this is one of the worst that we've seen. So the students really feel it.
UC Davis Chancellor Gary May put out a statement that reads in part, "We are sickened anyone would invest any time in such cowardly acts of hate and intimidation," adding white supremacy, hate, and intimidation have no place here. He says it's a second incident that's occurred over the last 2 weeks. Klein says it's the words on the signs that hurt the most.
There's probably nothing that's more hurtful to the Jewish community than denying the Holocaust, where 7 million Jews were killed.
It's very unsettling. It disrupts the peace and harmony of the community. It's very threatening. And oftentimes, it's an indicator. It could be a precursor to violence.
For the students trying to get to class, anti-Semitic acts like these put them on high alert.
I feel like for most students, especially since it's a hate crime, it's troublesome for many people who just want to go to class, like for them to have to worry about people like hating on, Jewish or like whatever like that is very troublesome.
UC Davis police are investigating the incident as a hate crime. The Jewish Federation of the Sacramento region is also working closely with law enforcement and says they've reported this incident to the FBI. We'll be right back with your 4-state hero after this.
It's time to honor today's 4-state hero, Chief Petty Officer James Hendrickson. The native of Joplin, Missouri, served in Vietnam, Iraq, and Kuwait. This highly decorated veteran earned, among numerous awards, the Navy Achievement Medal with Gold Star, 2 Combat Action Ribbons, the Joint Meritorious Unit Award, the Navy Expert Rifle Medal, and the Navy Expert Pistol Shot Medal. To Chief Petty Officer James Hendrickson, we thank you, today's 4-state hero.
Well, committal service held at Pikes Peak National Cemetery in Colorado Monday to pay tribute and to honor an unclaimed veteran.
A veteran who served 15 years in the U.S. Air Force. Maggie Molansky has more.
He is a hero of our nation, and we are here to honor him.
I thought it was beautiful, very touching.
A memorial service at Pikes Peak National Cemetery for an unclaimed veteran.
It's a great honor knowing that although he was an unclaimed veteran, that the other veterans in this community respect what he did while he was in the service.
There are a lot of veterans that go unnoticed because of either homelessness or just having lost family, and that's what this gentleman had, no family. And so I thought it's just a wonderful thing to come out as a community and support these veterans that have done so much for us.
U.S. Air Force Master Sergeant Charles Kaufman being honored for his service to the country.
It just makes us feel really good inside knowing that there's people out there that care so much about what we sacrificed while we were serving, especially Senior Master Sergeant Kaufman, who served 25 years.
Colorado Springs community members and veteran groups coming out to show support.
I didn't realize how many would show up, and I think it's wonderful that this community supports its veterans.
Military funeral honors performed with the playing of taps, the firing of rifle volleys, and the presentation of the burial flag by uniformed service members. Kaufman's 25 years of service to the U.S. Air Force being remembered.
He would have to show that he's capable of being a leader in the United States military, which is not something that anybody can do, and he did it over and over again for many years.
Absolutely awesome that they were able to do that for that unclaimed veteran.
And
I think
it was great showing for the community there.
Yeah.
Have you ever been up to Pikes Peak?
We've discussed this. I've never really been out of the 4 states, Tanya.
Family vacation, you should do it.
I will look into it. Right now we're planning a trip to Kansas City and maybe Chicago if we're lucky next year.
Ooh, that's a big trip.
Yeah, we're going to drive.
Kansas City keeps you in the same state.
Yeah, well, the kids have never been to Kansas City, and it's pretty cool for little kids. They've got a lot of neat things up there to see.
Yes, they do.
So
yes, they do.
We got some neat things in our forecast. Well, it depends on what you think is neat. We've got rain chances coming. Right now, we got clear skies at 7th and Range Line and 61 degrees as we start the day in Joplin. It's pretty chilly out, I mean, considering where we are. We look at all of these upper 50s across the board. Let's count. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. 11 of our communities in the upper 50s to start the last day of August. So how about that? That's not bad at all. It is going to warm up, though. It's going to remind us it's still August. 84 at noon. 90 is our afternoon high at 5 and 80 by 8 with clouds increasing. Mostly cloudy skies tonight. 73 by 11, 69 by 2 a.m. and at 6 a.m. with that overnight low of 68. It's going to squeeze in right about here. Now, we are watching the storm chances both Saturday and Sunday. 89 Saturday, 88 on Sunday. Mostly cloudy skies otherwise. So let's look at the future track and let's talk about those scattered storm chances. We go through today with the partly cloudy skies. Not bad. And we go into Thursday, increasing clouds. And then by Thursday at 5 o'clock, increasing scattered thunderstorm chances. We hold on to them through the first half of Friday. By Friday evening, they start to clear out. We heat up, and as you can see, there's not a lot of cloud cover on the backside of these storms. And then they come back Friday night into Saturday. Scattered storms, mostly cloudy on Saturday, and then Saturday night into Sunday, more scattered thunderstorm chances. This is 6 o'clock, where anywhere in this green, we may see some scattered thunderstorms. And a look at the 7 days. So we got 93 tomorrow, 91 on Friday. Decent temperatures for the weekend, but we are watching those storm chances. And then as we head into Monday, still a possibility of an isolated storm or two by Monday. 91 otherwise, 90 on Tuesday. So it's still going to be hot, but one nice thing is these storms are scattered. And so we're not looking at a complete washout for Labor Day weekend, but it is something you want to keep an eye on. Keep the Skywatch weather app handy. Keep an eye to the sky. And as we've been saying this morning, remember, if thunder roars, head indoors. That way you can stay safe while you celebrate. More of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 coming up. We got another half hour just ahead. The city of Joplin begins work on its next phase of the 32nd Street Widening project, and a shelter turns its dogs into superstars by teaching them some new tricks. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. Let's take a look at today's top stories. A truck stop tire center catches on fire Tuesday evening. Ozarko, located behind the Pilot Travel Plaza at Missouri 43 and I-44, caught on fire around 8 p.m. Tuesday night. There were reports of heavy smoke coming from the building. The Joplin Fire, JPD, and Met's ambulance responded alongside Redding's Mill as mutual aid. MoDOT emergency response closed Missouri 43 at Cedar Road as hoses crossed the state highway for hydrants on the east side near 4 state trucks. A worker tells us there were possibly 1,000 new tires inside the warehouse. This is the developing story, and we'll have all the details on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Firefighters and police are still investigating the cause of a fire that damaged a historic church in Fort Scott, Kansas. The overnight fire burned the Mary Queen of Angels Catholic Church on Holbrook Street. Crews from several surrounding departments battled the flames through the early Tuesday morning hours. By daylight, it was clear the roof was a complete loss and the basement flooded. The church was built in 1870. St. Mary's priest hopes the exterior walls can be saved as they rebuild. One Fort Scott firefighter was treated for a minor injury and released. The state fire marshal is now investigating what caused the fire.
Throughout the evening and the day today, we've had a lot of congregation that have been by, and you can tell they're emotionally upset.
Statues inside the church apparently were not seriously damaged and are still salvageable. City of Joplin begins work on its next phase of the 32nd Street Widening project. Last week, workers finished the first section of the street. The project will widen the street from Schifferdecker Avenue to Central City Road. The design includes adding a center lane and constructing a sidewalk shared use path. The project is scheduled to be complete next summer. And on Tuesday, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly proposed adding $20 million to the state's annual $2 million allotment to the affordable housing program. She says she's also worked with a bipartisan group of lawmakers to allocate an additional $50 million for housing throughout the state. With the investments, Kansas will see a 2-year investment of more than $90 million targeted towards the state's rural areas and small cities. Missouri voters will have some new rules now that lawmakers have passed the Comprehensive Election Reform Bill. Missouri voters are now required to bring photo IDs, and it expands absentee voting. Voters can now vote absentee without an excuse, allowing them the opportunity to vote 2 weeks prior to the election.
And I think it's safe and secure because we are actually checking their identification when they come in to absentee vote, so we know those are individuals who are eligible and they are who they really say they are. That is an important aspect of it.
The law faces some legal challenges, but if it stands, the first day you can absentee vote is September 27th. Pittsburgh Fire Department has a new tool to help some people suffering from smoke inhalation. The new cyano kits treat cyanide poisoning. Cyanide is created during a combustion. The fire department says anytime anyone inhales smoke, they get it in their bloodstream. Those exposed to enough smoke could be poisoned by the cyanide. Tuesday marked National Holistic Pet Day. A local dog club's trainer discusses how people can fulfill their dogs' lives. Often dogs spend long times home alone without attention when their owners are at work or school. The trainer says dog owners should make sure they fulfill the dog's need of being a pack animal and have lots of interaction with the dog, with it being before or after work.
You know, oftentimes when we come home and at the end of the day, we don't think so much about the needs of the dog. We're happy that the dog's, happy to see us, but we need to put a little bit of effort into the dog too because it's been waiting for us all day.
When dogs are left by themselves, Smith recommends filling stuffed dog toys with things like frozen yogurt to keep them busy. Interesting. Well, remember the 2006 animated film Happy Feet? It started a dancing penguin. But that flightless bird's feet couldn't possibly be as happy as the penguin at the San Diego Zoo, who just got a custom pair of boots. 4-year-old Lucas had been struggling with a case of bumblefoot. It's an infection that causes swelling and painful lesions in the feet. Enter Therapaw, a New Jersey-based company that specializes in boots and other protective footwear for animals. They use molds of Lucas's feet to create a special pair of orthopedic boots. There's extra padding on the bottom, and the black shade looks as close to his natural foot color as possible so as not to stand out too much. The boots were a success, enabling Lucas to get back to socializing with the other penguins. Zookeepers say he even has a girlfriend now.
Apparently that's a very lucky pair of boots that he's got.
So do these boots have like a crater in them or something on the top where they can hold an egg? Because he is a male penguin, and they're the ones that
They didn't
sit there with
specify.
the egg.
We'll have to see if we can find out and learn whether or not he's going to be able to hold an egg or not, especially if he's got himself a girlfriend right now. That's going to be something very important.
How about this, Chris? How about I find out more about these penguin boots, and we run something today on the KOAM News at noon?
I think that's a good idea, so make sure you tune in for the KOAM morning news, the KOAM News at noon. Make sure you do that. Real quick check of the weather because we're running out of time here. We got 61 in Joplin right now, so not bad under clear skies. Temperatures across the area, you can see Pittsburgh is the cool spot here on the local level. Everybody else in the lower 60s, and across the board, we counted a number of upper 50s to start our last day of August. And we're going to be hot today, 90 for an afternoon high. So 84 by noon, 90 by 5, 80 by 8 with increasing clouds. And heading into tonight, an overnight low of 68 degrees, 73 by 11, 69 by 2 and 6 with 68 squeezing in there. And then, of course, we're keeping an eye on scattered thunderstorm chances Saturday and Sunday. In fact, they begin Thursday and run all the way into Monday morning, 89 Saturday, 88 on Sunday. Well, this morning, we're discussing the housing market, and we're going to do that when the KOAM Morning News returns. Well, this morning, we're discussing the housing market. Call it the revenge of frustrated big city wannabe home buyers. See more and more of them buying real estate in small markets with affordable prices, and then they're renting them out as an investment. And these landlords have a name. They're called laptop landlords. Far different from the last housing boom's flippers, these buyers are holding on to the property and raking in monthly rents all online. Now, none of this would be possible without certain marketplaces like Roof Stock and Appreciate. These marketplaces serve up detailed reports on critical data like sales, crime, local schools, and then it connects buyers with financing and local managers who take care of the really tricky stuff like maintenance and leasing. That brings us to our something to talk about today. Do you plan on buying a house anytime soon? Yes or no? Holding steady at 97% of you saying no, meaning only 3% of you say yes. Remember, you can vote, KOAMNewsNow.com/vote. Take part in our discussion on Facebook, and of course, you can vote in our KOAM News Now app. Well, the U.S. Open tournament is underway. Another tennis tune-in this summer for fans is the new documentary, McEnroe. The Showtime documentary gives an inside look at John McEnroe's story with unseen archives, home video footage, and family stories. We have a preview with the tennis star himself. Here's Ashley Dvorkin.
You have to develop an edge to be great at something.
Showtime's new documentary, McEnroe, brings an intimate look at John McEnroe's life on and off the court.
The journey itself was as important or more important than showing clips of me playing a long time ago. And people could relate to that. You know, kids, you know, it's the greatest job in the world. It's the toughest. Your relationship with your parents, or going through a divorce, getting a second chance.
Fellow icons, his kids, and wife Patty Smythe all share stories.
She's also got the best line in the documentary to me, my favorite line by far, which is, you know, I married a bad boy who turned into a good man.
Director Barney Douglas says these perspectives are key.
Everyone has an opinion on who he is or what he is or why he is this way. So I just wanted his inner circle, I guess, that knew him intimately, that could actually talk about him with real depth and knowledge and emotion.
The film also explores how the high-profile sport can affect mental health. John says the challenges remain but are discussed more now.
They're similar. It's come out more in the forefront, obviously. Naomi Osaka, when she made her stand and started talking publicly about it, I think that was a gutsy move.
He even reflected on his first Wimbledon, a time he almost quit the sport completely.
It became too much. You know, I remember thinking, if I ever win this damn tournament, I'm never coming back. And then I thought, I want to win this again. You know, it was like within a couple minutes, I was like, I want to experience that again. So, you know, there's always that love-hate thing, you know, like, and you just try to keep the love a lot higher than the hate.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
McEnroe starts streaming on demand for Showtime subscribers September 2nd, and then premieres on air September the 4th. We're looking at cooler temperatures as we start the morning. A full check of your forecast from the KOAM Morning News continues. All right, we've got some changes in the forecast that are going to start in about 24 hours, well, about 36 hours to be perfectly honest with you. Clouds will begin increasing later today, and then we're watching the rain chances that'll start building in Thursday evening, and then we've got those scattered storms persisting through the holiday weekend. On the Skywatch Storm Tracker, nothing to show you. We zoom out to the entire lower 48 and take a look. Nothing really. We've got some activity up in Maine, and we've got some activity down in Texas and parts of New Mexico, and that's really about it. Right now in the fair city of Joplin, a cool start to the last day of August, 61 degrees under clear skies. Temperatures on the local level are all in the lower 60s now. Pittsburgh decided to join us and come up into the lower 60s. And across the region, we still have some upper 50s holding on, but everybody else now easing into the lower 60s ahead of what's going to be another hot day. 84, partly cloudy at noon, afternoon high of 90 at 5, 80 by 8 p.m. with those increasing clouds. And then as we head into this evening, we've got 73 at 11, 69 at both 2 and 6 a.m., and we'll reach an overnight low, albeit briefly, right in this gap here. Watching those scattered storm chances into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 89 and 88, mostly cloudy skies otherwise, and the future track does show us what those scattered storms are looking like in terms of coverage and timing. So we go into Thursday evening, increasing clouds, more scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. They hold on through the first half of Friday, clear out briefly, and then return by Friday night into Saturday, leaving us those cloudy skies, and then they're back again on Sunday with more scattered shower and thunderstorm activity for the holiday weekend. Now, here's Tanya with some Consumer Watch news.
That's right. In Consumer Watch this morning, Elon Musk is laying out a new case for backing out of the deal to purchase Twitter. The billionaire is scheduled to go to trial with the social media company in the fall. Kelly O'Grady has more.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk once again filed to end his $44 billion deal to buy Twitter. On Monday, his legal team sent a letter to the social media company citing a whistleblower report from former Chief Security Officer Peter Zatko. He was fired earlier this year. In the report, Zatko alleges Twitter misled regulators about its security protocols and withheld information about user data breaches.
The disclosure goes into great detail, 84 pages, single-spaced, hundreds of footnotes, dozens of enclosures. Essentially, the company was not doing what it said it was doing.
Musk originally filed to end the deal in July, saying Twitter did not give him enough information about bot activity on the platform. His attorneys say if Zatko's claims are true, they would serve as additional reasons to terminate the agreement. On Tuesday, Twitter responded to Musk's latest filing, writing in part, quote, "This letter is based solely on statements made by a third party that, as Twitter has previously stated, are riddled with inconsistencies and inaccuracies and lack important context. Twitter and Musk are set to go to trial in October, but his team has asked for that to be delayed.
Every single M&A deal that's out there is contingent upon you meeting certain representations and warranties. Whatever the seller says is true has to be true.
Zatko was subpoenaed by Musk's attorneys and is expected to appear for a deposition next week. In Los Angeles, Kelly O'Grady, Fox Business.
We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. There's a group at this year's Minnesota State Fair that's trying to prove that you can teach old dogs new tricks.
The crew at the All-Star Stunt Dog Splash Show travel around the country showing off these shelter dogs turned superstars.
Making I hope we have some dog lovers. Splash. Yes, good job. And looking good doing it.
We actually do shows all over the United States. From halftime shows, the NFL, to performing arts centers, to big, awesome fairs like the Minnesota State Fair.
So you live on the road?
We're on the road probably about 8-9 months out of the year.
Wow. It looks easy, but it takes hard work. How many hours of practice do you think it takes to get this good? A whole day. How much training does it take to get to what we saw today?
Well, it takes a good year to year and a half to train one of these dogs to the level that you're seeing out here. But we're always teaching the dogs to do new things as they get older. They are on a special diet. Their diet is basically good for their coat. It's good for their well-being and their activity.
From dock dives to dodging the dive altogether. These pups clearly have some experience under their tails, but what you probably can't tell from the stands is that all of them are rescues.
And people don't realize how great dogs from shelters and pounds can be. They seem to think that they're the misfits. They're the ones that can't make good dogs, but that's not the truth. Please check there first. You even might find the exact breed you're looking for. 40% of dogs in shelters are actually purebreds.
It was the coolest thing that they've ever done in their whole lives. They're pandemic children, so of course that doesn't totally say much, but they were so excited.
It's crazy that the dogs can do that. I want to teach my sister's dog.
And we wanted our shot.
Hey, Vinny, jump! Jump, Vinny! Jump, Vinny!
To be paw-tastic too.
What was that? You love jumping rope?
They're just like clapping, standing up, screaming. The almost 2-year-old was screaming, again, again, again.
What'd you think of the tricks today?
They were amazing.
You're gonna come back for the next show?
I think so.
She's very disappointed that it's over. I'm gonna have to break it to her that we're gonna have to leave. But yeah,
You're gonna have to teach your dog how to do this.
Yeah, that's my worry, is we're gonna go home and they're gonna expect Patterson to be doing all the tricks. I've never seen them so happy. They're hugging each other. We'll be back for sure. This was awesome.
Now, my dogs, Benny and Queenie, seriously need to learn how to do some of those
That
tricks,
was
too.
really cool, I'll be honest. I've mentioned before, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I'm not a big dog fan myself. Some bad experiences when I was a kid, but that was pretty cool, especially the one jumping rope. That was awesome. Absolutely
Well,
awesome.
the dog we had in here yesterday, she knew her commands very well.
Yeah, they can be very well trained.
I even told her to turn around, and she turned around and faced the camera when she was told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some good boys and good girls out there all the
Yeah.
time. All right, 7th and Rangeline. Sky's looking pretty good as we start this last day of August. Hard to believe it is the last day of August. Isn't that something? How about it? And these temperatures certainly don't reflect it, so that's why we've been reminding you. It really is the last day of August. We're sitting at 61 in Joplin, obviously under clear skies with a few passing clouds overhead. Now, these clouds are going to increase as the day goes on. We've still got a couple of upper 50s out there. Yates Center, Chanute, Fort Scott, Stockton, Greenfield, holding on to the upper 50s. Everybody else starting to warm into the lower 60s. And as we go through today, we're all going to heat up to about 90 degrees, 84 by noon, afternoon high of 90, 80 by 8 with those increasing clouds heading into tonight. We're looking at 73, 69, 69 with an overnight low of 68 under mostly cloudy skies. Now, I want to skip this little graphic to get straight to the future track about the weekend. As we head into tomorrow, we're going to watch increasing cloud cover, and by tomorrow evening, increasing scattered thunderstorm chances. They hold on to the first half of Friday, clear out briefly, and return Friday night into Saturday. And then we get another brief break before by Sunday, they just pack in scattered thunderstorm chances for the majority of the day on Sunday. And you can see 93 tomorrow, 91 on Friday, 89, 88 through the weekend, 91 by Labor Day. Not a complete washout, but definitely want to keep an eye to the sky for some of these scattered storms this weekend. More of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. A crisis is unfolding in Jackson, Mississippi over low water pressure, forcing schools to go remote and raising concerns that firefighters will not be able to put out fires. Recent flooding worsened a problem at a water treatment plant, creating a crisis for 180,000 people. A new pump will be brought in today to increase the water pressure, but officials can't say how long the issue will last. Mississippi's capital has also been under a boil water advisory for a month. Russian state news agencies are reporting Mikhail Gorbachev has died at the age of 91. Gorbachev was the last leader of the Soviet Union, dissolving the socialist state after its nearly 70-year reign. His reforms led to the fall of the Berlin Wall, and he later became friends with President Ronald Reagan. And NASA will try again to launch its Artemis 1 test flight this Saturday. Space agency scrubbed the first attempt Monday after fuel leaks and engine issues. The unmanned mission is part of NASA's attempt to put astronauts back on the moon as soon as 2025.
All right, we are heading for a hot day today, 84 by noon, 90 is our afternoon high by 5, 80 by 8 with increasing clouds. And then we're looking tonight, mostly cloudy skies, 73 at 11, 69 at 2 and 6 a.m. This overnight low of 68 will fall right into here. And as we head into the Labor Day weekend, unfortunately, we're looking at scattered thunderstorm chances. They actually start tomorrow evening and run all the way through Monday. But they are scattered, so that's a good thing. 89 Saturday, 88 on Sunday. We're looking at a high of 91 for tomorrow.
Well, what do Jane Goodall, Maya Angelou, and Rosa Parks all have in common?
That's a good question. Well, obviously, they're all inspiring women, but they also have a look-alike Barbie.
And now you can add Madam C.J. Walker to that list, the first self-made female millionaire in the country.
She achieved enormous success by founding a line of hair care products and cosmetics designed for Black women.
You can see the doll is even holding her original product, Wonderful Hair Grower.
Now, Walker was a noted activist and philanthropist, supporting orphanages and Black colleges and advocating for civil rights organizations and women's rights.
The doll is the latest addition to Barbie's Inspiring Women series.
And I think that's a great series that they are rolling out. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're going to be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.